Well, I, as a woman who loves men, and other women like me who are thankful for the beautiful male-female relationships that God ordained, yeah, I want your protection. I do want your protection. Welcome to Love and Life. I'm Dr. Karen Anderson Abril here with my co-host,
Pastor Elliot Anderson.
And Love and Life is your place to hear conversations grounded in psych research, psychotherapy,
and biblical truth
to help us thrive in love and life. It's election day, and I have some thoughts. On a day when many Americans will head to the polls to vote for Kamala Harris, maybe they're excited about her as a candidate. Maybe they're more excited about the fact that she's a woman. I want to point out some things that have crossed my mind over the last several months. And in particular, actually last several years, in particular, the progressive misogyny, the progressive view of women. While progressives purport to be advocates for women, as we are the more disempowered sex historically, which is true, I find their rhetoric directly contradicts what they purport to stand for. I have just 3 thoughts. There are many more, but I have just 3 thoughts to share about why it's just quite bizarre that progressives would ask you and encourage you to vote for a woman candidate. First off, even before we get to my 3 main points, they don't even know what a woman is. So it's a very strange thing to say, she's a woman, she'll be the first woman president. However, we don't even know what a woman is. So that right there shows a deep contradiction in philosophy and ideology. But as we talked about last week, let's start with number 1. Progressives think women are weak. This was clearly illustrated in the cringy ad that we talked about last week, where women go into the polls, their husbands are there, all MAGA'd up, and honey, you know who to vote for. And the women are like, uh-huh. And then they get in with their weak, pathetic, can't stand up to their husband's selves into the polls, and they go, I'm going to vote for Kamala. And what happens in the polls stays in the polls. And I guess Julia Roberts was the voiceover for this. It was such a clear message. Hey, progressives, leftists, what we believe is that women are too weak to be honest and open and stand up for what they believe to their boorish husbands. So progressives think we're weak. This is also exemplified by the fact that we're too weak to figure out how to not get pregnant, which we also discussed last week. So I won't go there again, although I'm sure we'll go there in other podcast episodes. We are thrilled to announce our partnership with Authentics Athletic Apparel, spelled with 2 X's at the end because it's our XX chromosomes that make us female. And contrary to current belief, no amount of hormones, no number of surgeries can change that. And no female athlete should have to compete against men. But at the moment, this is exactly what's happening in both amateur and professional sports. It's not fair, nor is it safe. Wearing Authentics lets us take a stand to support and protect female athletes. And I don't think it's hyperbolic to say it. We're protecting the future of womanhood. Authentics gives 10% of all sales to the Independent Women's Forum, the nonprofit which fights for women's causes, including our right to our own spaces and our right to compete against other women and only other women. Check out Authentics.com and use promo code LOVELIFE for 10% off your purchase. That's Authentics.com, AUTHENTIXX.com, and use promo code LOVELIFE, all one word, for 10% off your purchase. Number 2, progressives think women are stupid. Oh yeah, we're real stupid. As Mark Cuban just explained, that Trump never has wise, smart, intelligent, strong women around him. No.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him.
No, I guess his wife, she speaks only 6 languages. Yeah. Mark, how many languages do you speak? the Kellyanne Conway, from Kayleigh McEnany to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, brilliant women are around Trump often and support him. But I love, again, the progressives want to tell women who to be, who you have to vote for based on your gender and your genitalia, which also don't matter, though. They don't matter, because if a guy with a penis decides he's going to be a woman, then he is. So you have to vote in this way because you're a woman and you're weak and you're stupid, but also your identity as a woman is meaningless. So that makes sense. And I just love that they've sent out Mark Cuban as some ambassador for the progressive leftist conception of women. And he says these things and no one's like, really? Someone needs to pump the brakes on Cuban. Or they roll out this ad. How many people looked at that ad before they go, you know what? Maybe this isn't sending the message to our empowered Democrat progressive ladies that we think it's sending. I mean, who is like, hello, someone wake up. It is insane what they're doing. And Mark Cuban telling us that we're not intelligent, I'm not offended because I don't need Mark Cuban to decide for me whether I am or I'm not intelligent. I just think it's hilarious that they keep having this rhetoric and this messaging come out as if it's empowering women, which again is meaningless because women don't exist. As you know, we've been partnering with the Wellness Company for several months now. And personally, as someone who sadly no longer trusts the vast majority of medical professionals, I am so happy to be able to share the Wellness Company's array of products with the Love and Life community. Dan and I just purchased the Wellness Company's medical emergency kit, which includes vital medications with proven safety profiles like ivermectin, amoxicillin, and Z-Pak. The kit also includes a comprehensive guidebook researched and written by the company's chief medical board, including esteemed doctors who stood up to COVID tyranny, by the way, which is exactly why they've earned our trust. Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Harvey Risch, Dr. Drew Pinsky, and Dr. Paul Alexander, just to name a few. Head over to twc.health/lovelife and enter promo code LOVELIFE, all one word, for 15% off your order. That's twc.health/lovelife and promo code LOVELIFE for 15% off your order. We can take charge of our health, and the Wellness Company is here to help us do it. Which gets me to my third point. Progressive ideology around gender and sex will eliminate, it will erase what it means to be a woman. It will actually erase women. I mean, we talk about female sports being obliterated. They'll be obliterated. We'll have the varsity team, which will be men against men. Then we'll have the JV team, which will be trans against trans. And women will no longer have a place on the playing field. But yeah, you're advocating for women, aren't you? All those female athletes who worked so hard, all these Title IX, the old Title IX, which allowed women to have sports teams to the same degree as men, washed away, wiped away. Why? Because men decided that they could be better women than women could be. Oh, yeah. That is so female empowerment in a nutshell. We could talk about the sports. We can talk about the fact that Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, a couple years ago, is on the cover of some magazine as Woman of the Year. Once again, the best woman is a man. Men can be women better than women can be women. But that's not the patriarchy. No, don't get it wrong. The right, they're all patriarchal. It's those guys over there, those MAGA people. They hate women so much. While the left, the progressives say, oh, women, actually, you are not so good at being a woman. Men are way better at it. But no, that's not disparaging, discriminating to women. Let's talk about the fact that your experience as a woman means nothing because some 45-year-old dude with a penis and male genitalia and 45 years of being a man on this planet can show up, put on a dress, and tell you that he knows what it's like to be a woman. Oh, I don't know. Did he know what it was like to be a little girl? 4, 5, 6 years old. Whether you were a little girl who liked to make mud pies and play with the boys, tomboy style, or whether you were a little girl who loved to walk through daisy fields, make daisy chains, and play with baby dolls. I don't know. Your girlhood was an experience that no man or boy knows anything about. And that's okay. That's how it is. We have boyhood, we have girlhood. And just because you're 45 years old and you have gender dysphoria and you decide that you are a woman does not mean that you align with anything or understand anything about what it means to be a girl and a female. Did you have your first period when you were 12 years old? And what that meant for you, that experience as you looked at your girlhood and it started to go away because you were stepping into young ladyhood, young womanhood, and all the complex emotions of that. Maybe you were embarrassed. Maybe you didn't know a whole lot about it because your parents didn't tell you. I don't know what your experience was. That's unique to being female. As your body starts changing and the hormones are raging and you're getting attention from the opposite sex and you kind of like it, but you're kind of scared of it. This is something we deal with as women. We experience it. We talk to our girlfriends about it. We giggle about it. We journal about it. We go from girlhood to womanhood. And you at 45 or 25, I don't care what age you are, as a man with your penis and not having this experience of being a girl and into a young lady and into a woman, you cannot just decide that you are a woman and act as if you identify with us. Furthermore, another element of being a woman as a young girl, as a young lady, and then as a mature woman is that you are the more fragile sex physically, which means that when you walk down the street at night, you are more worried. Your head is on a swivel. You clutch your purse to you and you are aware of your surroundings in a way that a man with his strength never has experienced. So Bruce Jenner, who was the most powerful athlete in 1976, won the decathlon. Caitlin, whatever. I'm happy if you're happy. However, please don't act like you know what it's like to be a woman and have that unique experience that women have of being the weaker sex, not intellectually, not emotionally, but physically, and walking down a street and feeling more vulnerable than a man. That's something that women experience. And you don't get to say you get that. You don't get to say you understand that just because you have gender dysphoria and you've decided to put on a dress and a wig. Which gets to my final point. To sum this up, as a woman who voted for Trump, made calls for RFKJ, and supports the Maha movement, and will continue no matter what happens in this election. These movements are not going anywhere. We are not done. We will not stop fighting. Trump says he wants to protect women, and his team tells him don't say that. Well, I, as a woman who loves men, and other women like me, who are thankful for the beautiful male-female relationships that God ordained. Yeah, I want your protection. I do want your protection. I want you to protect me when I'm walking down the street at night. I want you to protect me from illegals coming here to rape and kill and bring drugs to my community, to my nieces and my nephews and anyone I care about, young people who are getting slaughtered by fentanyl overdoses. Not my nieces and nephews, thank God. They're not involved with such things. But many people's are. Many people's children are. We want protection. Protection is not some negative patriarchal reality. It is a beautiful thing that women, the gentler, the weaker sex, physically, can lean into our men who protect us. And that includes Trump. And you may not like a lot of what he's about as far as his personality, and it's brash. And again, these empowered women on the left who are like, I'm an empowered woman. Are you though? Because you're so fragile. Every time Trump says something, your panties are in a bunch. I'm just struck, my final thought, I'm just struck by how everything is backwards. The empowered side for women is actually the misogynistic side. And we over here on the right with our archaic conservative values, we're actually the ones who are empowering women because if for nothing else, we are recognizing that womanhood exists and it's distinct from manhood. My parting thoughts on a day that will decide a lot of things. Thanks for joining me and thanks for listening.
Love and Life with Dr. Karen and Pastor Elliot is produced by Tim May and executive producer Dr. Karen Anderson-Abel. For more information about Love and Life, please go to loveandlifemedia.com.